Hello friends, my name is Paramjeet Singh and welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video we are going to create two virtual machines under a single virtual network, and we'll try to connect those virtual machines. So the steps to do this is you create a virtual network and then you create two virtual machines under the same virtual network, and you take the remote desktop control of those virtual machines and turn off the firewall, because if you will not turn off the firewall you will not be able to connect those machines or ping those machines. So once you turn off the firewall, then you can go ahead and open the command prompt and ping those machines. So now let's jump into the Azure portal. Okay, so this is the Azure portal, which is portal.azure.com. You log in and then you go to virtual networks. You create a virtual network. And also create a resource group. So let's give it a name RG01. I create a virtual network with the name my VNet. Now I can change the location to East US or keep it Central US, and now let's keep these default settings, default network that it's selecting and the default subnet. I'm not making any changes to it. Now all these options should be disabled. We are not turning on any of these options. And then review and create. My validation is passed, so I'm creating the virtual network and it will take some time. Let's wait for it. Okay, now friends, you see the virtual network is created. I'll go to the resource. Okay, so this is my virtual network. Now let's go to virtual machines and create two virtual machines. Each one is going to be server 2012. So I create the first one. So I select the same resource group RG01. I create my first virtual machine. That is going to be server 1. Okay, the region is East US. I do not turn on any availability set or availability zone. I select the image as server 2012 and select the size as one virtual CPU, 3.5 gigs of memory, because in free trial I cannot use more than two virtual CPUs. So if I need to create two virtual machines, I am selecting this size so that it makes me able to create another virtual machine on one virtual CPU and 3.5 gigs of memory. So I name the username as administrator 1 for virtual machine 1. Okay, so now when I scroll down, I have RDP port on. I can check these licensing options. Once you go to networking, make sure the virtual network that you have created is selected. So I check this and then I go to review and create. Okay, now I create the virtual machine. Okay friends, now you see virtual machine is created. Now let's go ahead and create another virtual machine. Select the same resource group and the virtual machine name is virtual machine server 2. I do not need to keep these options. I check it as no. The virtual machine server image is server 2012. The size is one virtual CPU and 3.5 gigs RAM, and I name the user as administrator 2 for virtual machine 2. Okay, I give a password. Now the RDP port is on. I select these licensing options. Now let's make changes to the network, because we need to keep both the virtual machines in one common network. So this is my VNet. So this is already selected, that's good. So now let's jump into review and create. Okay, validation is passed, so I can go ahead and create this virtual machine. Alright friends, so you see the virtual machine 2, a VM server 2 is already created. Now I have both the virtual machines ready, and you can see both the virtual machines are in running state. So let's go to virtual machine 1 and connect the virtual machine by RDP. Okay, the username here is administrator1, password, connect. While my virtual machine 1 is logging in, let's also log into the virtual machine 2. The username for virtual machine 2 is administrator 2. Okay, now that I have both the virtual machines running, so I have two options. Either I can go to this overview option and check this private IP from here. You see that you can see the private IP in this networking tab, and same goes to virtual machine 2. You have this private IP for virtual machine 2 in networking tab. So for the private IP for virtual machine 1 is 10.0.0.4 and virtual machine 2 is 10.0.0.5. so to check it in the virtual machine itself, you go to this server, and once you are on this server option, let me drag this image to top right. Okay, now in this virtual machine, okay, in the bottom right corner of this virtual machine, you right click on this network option, go to open network and sharing center, click on Ethernet, details, and you see this 10.0.0.4 is the IP address for my virtual machine 1, and there is also a shortcut for this. You simply go to this start menu, right click on it, do not left click, you need to right click to get these options from the start menu. Click on run and type in ncpa.cpl. once you type in ncpa.cpl, click OK. You see this Ethernet option, right click and status. So once you click on status, you get this box, details 10.0.0.4. so you have two options to check the IP, in fact three. The other one is from the Azure portal as well. So this is the IP address for virtual machine 1, and now let's go to virtual machine 2. Now on this virtual machine 2, I scroll down, I right click, open sharing center, network and sharing center, Ethernet, details, and I have 10.0.0.5. so this is how you check your IP address, the private IP address. So now you wonder why the private IP address is working for both the virtual machines, because they are in the common virtual network. the first virtual machine which I created, I selected the same network, then I created a virtual machine 2, I created the same virtual network which is my VNet. So both the machines are lying in a common virtual network. That is why it is possible to access the virtual machines through private IP address. Okay, so now let's do one thing. Just go back to virtual machine 1. So now this is my virtual machine 1, and go to local server, and you see the Windows firewall is on. So I just click on this option, drop down. So you see turn Windows firewall on or off. You click on this one, turn off the firewall on virtual machine 1, click OK. Now the firewall is turned off. Now jump into the virtual machine 2. I go to local server, I click on Windows firewall, turn Windows firewall on or off, and turn off the Windows firewall. Now I can ping virtual machine 1 from virtual machine 2 and vice versa. So what I do is I go to virtual machine 1, and in start menu type cmd, open the command prompt, and I ping virtual machine 2, that is 0.5. You see I can access virtual machine 2 from virtual machine 1, and let's try the same from virtual machine 2. Now ping virtual machine 1 from here, and you get the response. So this is how you connect two virtual machines under single virtual network. So you just need to turn off the firewall, and you can ping the virtual machines. If you have any doubts, please see the video from the starting once again, and you will get to know how to configure the virtual machines in one virtual network. So if you have made it so far, please like the video, please subscribe my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.